the transmission we bought for the Skyline manual swap was missing second gear. I ended up buying two SR20 transmissions, and we're going to use the center gear set and swap out the RB bell housing. The first step to disassemble the transmission is pull out this striking arm. They're just held in by a pin. Then this front cover with these bolts. There's going to be a snap ring on the output shaft, like that. Then there's going to be 8 bolts holding the two cases together. These were really tight for some reason. They're torqued very lightly. Some of those probably did not care. Separating the two cases was a pain in the ass. You could use a hammer. I had to use a flathead in between the housing to get it to finally unstick. Now this is the bad transmission. You could see all the carnage in here. That's all second gear and it's counter gear. Like, look at that. All the teeth missing. This is the SR core. That's how it's supposed to look. And look at all the teeth missing on this RB transmission. Now, on the FSM, it shows that assembly should be done with bell housing first. Then you slip in the gear set, and then you do the tail shaft over that. I like to just spread out gasket maker with my fingers. That way I can make like a little gasket. I find it easier and it's cleaner in my opinion. On the FSM, it says to apply the gasket maker on the center plate of the gear set, but I found it easier just to do it on the tail shaft, so that way I could not accidentally get it too far inside the transmission. This was a little bit of a pain in the ass to get in. You have to align it perfectly to get it to slip in, and also get the shifter fork in the hole. It got to a point where I had to use a rubber mallet to tap it in a little further. When installing the tail shaft housing, the FSM mentions that you should be installing the striking arm as you're slipping on the case. I'd forgot. When I disassembled the trans, I was able to pull it out by just shifting the transmission into gear, and that gave me enough room, but I want to follow the FSM as much as I can. These 8 bolts go in. The FSM mentions torque specs are very light, so 12 to 14 foot-pounds. The FSM I'll include in the description. If you don't know, all FSMs are available on Nico Club. Now reinstalling the front cover, you put the snap ring in first. Then my transmission had a shim. The FSM mentions a shim if necessary, so I'm just going to put it back as it came. This gasket would not stick, so a little trick to get it to stay in place is just rub some Vaseline on the surface, and the gasket, wherever you're putting it on, will stick like glue. Next goes on the front cover. All the transmissions I disassembled had some gasket maker on top of the gasket that it comes with. I'm just going to install it with just the gasket, because assuming that they're two machine surfaces, it should be okay. These bolts also get torqued to 12 to 15 foot-pounds. When installing the striking arm, you just need to line up the hole on the arm itself to the hole in the shifter rod, and then just hammer in the pin. That RB transmission got me a little scared, so I'm just going to test to see if this thing actually shifts in all gears and spins the drive shaft. I don't know if this will actually prove anything, or if driving a car puts a lot more load on this, and what I just tested doesn't actually mean anything. But I used an extension with a 10mm socket to shift the gears, and then I just spin the input shaft to make sure that the drive shaft is also spinning. If you're going to do like a more thorough rebuild, the Nissan FSM shows all the gears, how to install them, how to take them out, what spec they're supposed to be in, and everything like that. I'll include the download in the description. And all FSMs for basically all Nissans are available on Nico Club.